All right, guys. So we're going to go live here and not only on Instagram, but on Facebook. And I'm going to be answering some of the questions that my followers have on Instagram about the number one question they have about personal branding. So for those of you guys that are watching on Facebook Live, I'm actually recording this as well on my iPhone. So you're going to see me trying to make eye contact on two devices here. So bear with me. But what I want to do, guys, is I want to share screen and I want to walk you through the questions that I've been getting asked in regards to personal branding on my Instagram page. And if you haven't subscribed to my Instagram yet, go check out the brand DR. And so I'm going to go down these 32 comments here and see how well I can answer these questions for my followers here. So Teak Bank Homes says, should one brand offer multiple services? And so my question, my question there is, I shouldn't say my question, my answer to that would be absolutely. You know, in order to have a well-diverse portfolio of services for a client, you should certainly have a myriad of deliverables for your target audience. However, you need to know who that target audience is first prior to developing multiple services, right? So if you don't know what they need or want, how do you know what kind of services to provide? So I would certainly have a low-hanging fruit offer. I would have a mid-tier offer, and I would certainly have a higher ticket offer and have a value, they call it the value ladder, but a level of ascension to bring clients through as they continue to get to know, like, and trust you. So that would be the answer to that question. So let me go back to here and get another question. So how do I plan my personal brand? Well, that's a good question. So how do you plan? It's simple. Take a look at what it is that you want to do. Take a look at your superpowers. Take a look at what people would be wanting to pay you for and willing and able to pay you for, and start charging for it, right? But in order to do that, again, it all goes back to understanding who your target audience is and what they want to buy, you know, and give it to them. So you start there, but first you have to do some, I believe you have to do some self-awareness exercises to make sure that you know what you're really good at and what people are, like I said, willing to pay you for. So it all comes down to that. So, I mean, that's where it starts. And then you can obviously build and scale from there. So let's go to the next question. New startup here. I have an IG account for both business and personal. Both are public, but my personal is gaining traction faster. Personal IG gets business and personal posts, while biz IG just gets the biz posts. So should I just forget about my personal and do everything on my IG business account? Well, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot there by doing that. And so I would advise you answered your own question, but you answered it incorrectly. So if your IG account on the personal side of things is getting more traction and you're sprinkling in business posts, then I would certainly go all in on that account because it's already got the momentum. Why would you go to a business account that's getting no traction? You go with the the identity that, or the account that's getting most traction. And you've made a good point in the question, because you've said to yourself, people are gravitating towards the personal account. Well, you're absolutely right. People are going to connect with people first, then they're going to connect with the business and the product and the service. So for sure, triple down on the personal account and keep that balance between business and personal, because people do want to see the personal side of things. It makes for the differentiation between you and everybody else that does what you do. Plus, people want to know that you're human. And so with that said, it's going to help people connect with you on an emotional level. So definitely start there. So let's go back to another question. Okay. How do I make sure that my logo is seen and understood the way you want people to see it, so when they just see it, they understand? Great question. I have a great answer. So what it comes down to is really understanding and designing the logo for your audience, not for you. I tell my clients all the time, we got to take ourselves out of the equation, because the logo is not about us. It is about them. And if the audience cannot resonate with that logo or connect with that logo, you won't have a business. And so how do we do that? Well, I have, in the Brand Accelerator program, I help clients go through a very systematic approach on how to develop their brand identity. And we do a lot of the foundational things first, like user profile, customer journey, obstacles and challenges, risk mitigation, possible solutions, from prioritization goals to that's just the tip of the iceberg. But with all of that exercise being done prior to getting into brand development, we're able to really create an identity that connects with the audience, because it's all about the audience. It's not about you and how much you love the color purple or blue or love that font selection. It all comes down to how your audience is going to resonate with that identity. So definitely keeping that in mind. So that's the answer to that question. We're just chipping away here, aren't we? So, okay. Let's see. Good question indeed. Okay, let's see. Good question indeed. It can rob one of important sleep at night. There's a lot of great information out there, and it could seem overwhelming even after learning all you can and doing best to implement it all. There's the question, are we doing it right? Well, you'll know that you're doing your personal brand right and justice if people are resonating with it, sales are coming in, people are commenting on it, and people are really starting to gravitate towards your branding, the way it's messaged, the way it's positioned. And so you'll know, your audience is going to tell you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And so I would strongly advise keep a real solid pulse on sales, engagement, how people are responding and perceiving your brand. Because if you're not getting any of that feedback, chances are you're going about it the wrong way. And so we want to make sure that, we stay on track. The other thing that I would strongly advise you do is get a mentor. Get somebody who's an expert in branding, specifically personal branding like myself, and contract them or engage them to guide you along the way. Listen, you're going to get to where you want to be a hell of a lot faster if you're working with somebody who's been there and done that already. Okay. I think we talked about that. How do we start a brand with nothing? It's really tough, but I think what you really need to do is get out there and work for free and really establish a solid result, establish value in the marketplace. And that's where you start. Okay. Christine says, how do I convince a client? It's so funny. I did a blog post about this not too long ago. How do you convince a client? You really don't convince clients to do anything, right? You don't. The title of my blog yesterday was, you can't bring a duck to Eagle School. You just can't. And so what I mean by that is simply this. You're not going to be able to teach a duck how to fly like an eagle. It's just not going to happen. What I would much rather you do is focus on eagles that want to fly higher. Because when you focus on eagles that want to fly higher, it's just a matter of you helping them facilitate them to the next level. You're not trying to convince them. So here's the deal. You're never going to convince somebody that pays for a $5 lotion, perhaps, right, to go and invest in the $35 bottle lotion. It's just not going to happen. They're not wired to spend that kind of money on lotion. So what you would rather do is find more folks that are buying the $35 lotion and show them a better opportunity or a better product and sell to them. And so that's my take on convincing. I'm not here to convince anybody. You either know that your personal brand is super, super important and you must invest in it if you want to survive in 2019 and beyond, or suffer the consequence and be out of business soon because nobody is going to resonate with you and nobody's going to see the differentiating factor between you and everybody else. It's going to be a race to the bottom because all you're going to do is compete on price. You're going to turn into a disposable, replaceable commodity and you'll be out of business. And so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's typically what happens when you don't invest in yourself. So let's get into more questions here. So I have, let me share screen. How much different do fonts make? And is there any font which stands out the best? Again, it all comes back down to your audience and what they're going to resonate with. You know, if you're a feminine brand, you're probably going to go with lighter font bases and font weights. If you're a more bolder brand, more aggressive brand, you're probably going to go with a thicker weight-based font. When I say weight, I mean the thickness. So that's what I would say to that. Okay. Are people able to understand what you want to convey from your brand name? Is your brand name simple? Again, the brand name needs to resonate with the audience, right? So I'm working with a client right now who's a franchise consultant, and she's been in the game 20 plus years. And so she's a franchise opportunity expert. So we called her Fox, franchise op expert. And so we got a little creative with the name. But it is easily understandable what that client does for her audience. She's a franchise opportunity expert. If people are looking for franchise opportunities, they hire her. So names should be simplistic. They should be straightforward. We got a little creative with another client the other day. Two women have a company, a lead generation business, and one's name's Isabel, the other one's name is Vanessa. And what we did was we played off the Ivy League because they are really good at what they do. We played off of the concept of Ivy League, but we went with the name IV Leads with a Z at the end. And so there's a little play off of the Ivy League concept. We have them there's a personal touch to the name IV, Isabel, Vanessa. So there was a happy marriage there all along. And that's how we developed that name. But it must resonate. It must be quick. You know, people should know exactly what you do in a very short amount of time. All right, let's go to some more questions. Okay, we got more about brand names. How to create a reputable brand, or simply put, how to create a brand name. Okay, we just talked about that. What is my voice? What is my ideal clients? My core value? That's a great question. So how do we determine all of that? Well, again, in the Brand Accelerator program, I go into deep detail into defining the brand. So we look at voice, tone, we look at culture, we look at the features, the benefits, the X factor, and we go into a very systematic exercise that helps define all of that. You know, and again, it comes back down to, what does your brand need to look like, feel like to your audience for them to actually resonate with you? You know, again, it comes back to them. And if you're not positioning your brand properly, you're not going to get that connection. They're not going to resonate. You're not going to be relevant. And that's a huge, huge disconnect. You know, you can't just throw out a name and create a brand out of thin air. You know, it's got to come from some place. There's got to be an origin, right? So what are your core values? I would ask this follower, what are your core values? And would you want those core values to align with the ideal client that you want to serve? So sharing those values is going to help you attract similar people, right? And so that's how you define your core values, is take a look at yours. What do you stand for? Because clearly you're just an offshoot of what your business is going to represent. So that's how you identify your core value. Who are your ideal clients? Well, who do you love to work with? Who do you truly want to serve? That's an answer you have to ask yourself. And then, you know, I could obviously walk you through the process of defining that customer 7 layers deep, you know, through the Brand Accelerator program, to really help you identify who that person is. The key here is to help you understand them better than they understand themselves. When you do that, that's when the magic happens. That's when you get inside their heads. So let's see what else we got here. Okay, here's a good one. So I honestly believe that at the end of the day, this is from Veneer Kumar. I honestly believe that at the end of the day, it's what drives people to be hooked to social media. Again, personal branding. The ability to see glimpses into personal lives. Our personal IG has the content people want to see. No one ever said, I love watching marketing videos all day. It's true. So I think we may need to start duplicating the content on both profiles, or focus on putting everything on a business profile. Our customers want to identify with us, but obviously I'm not sure. So looking forward to getting feedback. So we certainly addressed that in the previous answer to a question, but what I will say is this: you're absolutely right. People want to connect with people first, and then they will certainly connect with your product or service. You know, nobody is going to buy straight off of a logo, right? Nobody's going to buy straight off of somebody saying, or seeing a bottle of some sort, or some brand identity out there, and say, oh, I'm going to buy from them just because of the coloring, right? The color may trigger something, the messaging may trigger something, but it's the person behind it. It's the purpose behind it that really creates that connection. And so that's why I like to say, you really want to get your values out there. You want to articulate your purpose. You really want to showcase your expertise. You really want to show people that you deliver a result and a solution for people. And you want to put that out there. When people see that, they say to themselves, wow, I wonder if this will work for me. How can I get in touch? How can I move the needle forward to begin working with those people? And especially with the millennials coming up as being a massive part of the workforce these days, they're looking for brands to connect with that have a purpose that resonates with them. And so you're going to see big brands and even personal brands really connecting with a purpose and really showcasing that purpose. For example, I donate to a charity called A Voice for the Innocent. It's helping folks that have been sexually abused. So that's one charity that I contribute to on a regular. The other charity that I contribute to on a regular is one of the animal shelters that is nearby. That's where we got Canella, our little guy. We rescued him for, 6 years ago? My God, time flies. But so we really have a culture here that we want to pay it forward. We want to connect with organizations, charities that have a sweet spot in our heart, a soft spot in our heart, and a place in our heart. And so those are the two charities that, we resonate with and we support. So definitely want to find that purpose and keep it loud and clear. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. How can a brand be consistent without being lousy or too much or over the top? It's a great question. Again, I think it's understanding who it is that you want to serve and really resonating with them. So how do I develop content for my audience, right? Well, simply asking questions, right, online and seeing where their head's at. There's a lot of people that want to build and grow a following, right? And I ask them, well, why? Why is that important to you? Is it to get Insta famous, or is it to really serve a purpose and solve a huge problem in a market that you can provide that solution to? So what makes you think a huge following is going to help you do all of that? So, you got to get down to the root. You got to get down to the cause of what exactly you're doing, why you're doing it. And so when you survey your audience on a consistent basis, you're going to get a lot of intel. And when you get that intel, you want to provide them help. So that's exactly what I'm doing here in regards to putting together this live here on Facebook. And we're going to download this and we're going to put this on YouTube because I find it to be super helpful for clients to be able to see this and my audience to see this so that they can get some answers, get some clarity. It may not be, the exact blueprint on how to solve that problem, but it's going to help you tremendously get over that hump, right? Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. So to answer that question specifically, it's more or less finding out what they want and give that to them. That's how you're going to stay consistent. That's how you're going to be really relevant to them. You're not just putting out content that you think is cool. You're putting out content that they really want to learn from. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's it. That was a boatload of, oh, wait, I think we got more. Oh, yeah, we do. Is a personal brand more dependent on the skills you acquire? Is a personal brand more dependent on the skills you acquire? Yes. The answer is yes. Your personal brand revolves around your expertise. And so you need to truly define that expertise and understand who it is that you're truly serving. When you niche that down to one specific person, you're going to win. And that's one of the things that I teach. It's really finding that niche, finding that ideal client. I'll give you a quick example. So I'm working with a software as a service company, and we defined 3 different profiles that he would like to serve. And then as we continue down the journey of defining those profiles, we found that one was going to be extremely lucrative. And so what we did was we tripled down on that one profile and found out how can we serve that individual profile, that particular audience, that particular client at the highest level above and beyond the competition and in a different way. And we were able to flush that out through the Brand Accelerator program. And now we are going into the brand development phase where we start to design the identity, because now we know exactly who it is that we're designing and building the brand for. So that's that. Okay, what else do we got? How can I keep my clients from going rogue? As oftentimes their approach is inconsistent. And when it comes to branding, the number one rule is consistency. So clearly rhetorical, she says. So how do I keep my clients from going rogue? Well, provide more value to them, okay? Give them a level of ascension that they can move up the ladder, right? And consistently learn from you and grow from you. So for example, at Unique Designz in my business, what we do is we have some digital products, we have a course, and then we have some real high ticket. The Brand Accelerator program would be the high ticket program. It's the one-on-one coaching and brand development execution. And so we go from step to step to step. And that's how we retain our clients from going rogue. You know, there's going to be some clients that just don't want to continue, and you're just going to have to let them go and let them, I don't know how else to explain it. I hate to use the word suffer, but they may have to just learn the hard way. And so you just got to let them go. I mean, but if you continue to provide the value that they're looking for, they're going to stick around. I can promise you. Okay. We typically have clients, you know, our stick rate is typically a calendar year at a minimum due to the a value that we provide on a consistent basis. How much promoting should I be doing? Well, you should be doing consistent promoting every day. I mean, people say, how often do you show up on social media? Well, I'm there every day. I post on Instagram 3 times a day. I'm on LinkedIn twice a day. I'm on YouTube 3 times a week. So I'm out there. And so you got to put yourself out there. And the more value that you could bring to the marketplace, the more attention you're going to grab. Okay. Here's a great one. I'm a director of marketing for a large medical supply company for chiropractors. And I struggle to portray the brand as more desirable. Medical devices are boring, but need to be professional. So I want to humanize it and make it more fun, like the car insurance industry. Any ideas how? It's a great question. I think what we need to do in your case, my friend, without breaking any HIPAA laws or anything like that, is to really take your audience behind the scenes. So I would like to see you do a lot more Instagram story perhaps, or maybe perhaps do a vlog of some sort where you can bring people through, you know, your day-to-day. We talked about it earlier, right? People like to see the personal side of things, right? Tyler Harris does a great job. He's in life insurance, right? So he has a vlog and he takes you behind the scenes, and you literally go on the journey with him each month as he goes and provides life insurance to his clients, right? And so it's a great way to humanize the whole experience. So bringing them along the ride via social media is definitely the way I would do that. Okay, what else we got? Should one brand, okay, I did that. Yeah, I think that now we got them all. Now I think we got them all. Okay, so there you have it, guys. I hope, and if I missed anybody, I apologize. Shoot me a DM or shoot me an email, and I'd be more than happy to answer your question for sure. I promised you guys I was going to do this video for you, so this is going to go back up on YouTube, and it'll be in my IGTV as well, and I'll make sure everybody gets a chance to see that. So hope you got some value out of this, guys. For my YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, or this is one of the first videos you've seen thus far, hit that little subscribe button, and I will continue to be sure to bring you as much value as I possibly can to help you scale your expertise, grow your personal brand, and really help you get out there and really help you build that lifestyle that you want to live and that business you're proud to promote. And so there you have it, guys. Drop some comments below. If you haven't, done so yet, if you have any follow-up questions, I'll be monitoring these things. You guys know how quickly I respond back to you guys. So go ahead and do that now. And again, appreciate you guys for watching and hope I was able to get you some value and get you some help with where you're stuck when it comes to personal branding. So have an amazing day, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Later.